Welcome to Food Travelers. In this episode, we are in Dallas and we are hitting up Terry Blacks BBQ, one of our very popular barbecue spots that are in the Texas monthly top 50. And very excited to try these barbecue, Micah, because, we do love barbecue and we try to find all these really great spots that are mentioned in, especially Texas Monthly Barbecue, which is a very popular barbecue magazine that kind of goes through a whole bunch of great places.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this barbecue spot, Terry Blacks. I've heard a lot about Terry Blacks, especially from the Pacific Northwest. Pretty much every single one of my friends who've been to Texas recommend this spot, and also people in line that I meet and I'll talk to, they all recommend coming here. I know with Terry Blacks, they have actually 3 different locations. They have the Austin location, Dallas, and Lockhart from what I read. And in this Dallas location, I think the whole environment and setup of the restaurant is actually really nice. I mean, you have the whole outdoor patio spot, you have a upper floor spot, and they have everything marked really, really well too in terms of the layout and where to go. So if you do want to visit the pits, they have a sign that say the pit tour, and then there's a line tour. Not line tour, but a line to where you line up to get your food. And I think that's always really good because a lot of barbecue restaurants that we go to actually have no lines or tours or anything. You kind of just either get invited to the back or you just ask to go to the back. So I think that's also that's a really great thing with Terry Black.
Yeah, same here. Other friends that I've spoken with, they always recommend going down here. So now that we were actually heading to Dallas, it was something that we wanted to, or at least I wanted to stop by and take a look and kind of get that a comparison that we've had since we've had so many great barbecue in Texas. And yeah, this spot here in Dallas, it is really beautiful. Just the way the setup is, like you mentioned. Unfortunately, the top floor we weren't able to go visit because they closed that off because we were there for dinner. And that also in itself is kind of a unique thing for Texas barbecue because many of the barbecue spots that do open up, they're I would say fairly limited, whether it's either by the days in which they are open, some are only open a few days a week, or even by the hours in which they open, which a lot of do open during lunch around that 11 a.m. section, but they sell everything out that they make for the day and then they close down, whereas here at Terry Black's, it's really continuous. They're always going through and they're making it, and they open late into the night, so that's why we came here during the dinner time.
Yeah, that's one thing about Terry Blacks is they're open 7 days a week, opening I think anywhere from 10:30, 11 a.m. all the way to 9:30, 10 p.m. And that's a lot of brisket and ribs that they're making to serve that long of a operation hour. I think that's amazing for them. I mean, if you can operate and have that much brisket and food out for everybody to feed, extra kudos to you.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and especially I think one of the toughest thing is just keeping the quality up, because it's with barbecue, you have to tend to it quite a bit, so you have to if you want that quality in the meats that you cook, you really do have to just watch it and kind of go through whatever processes that each individual barbecue place goes through. And it's easy, as you kind of increase quantity, to kind of let things slip and then kind of offer more subpar barbecue. But in this case, they were definitely very good. I really enjoyed what we ordered, especially the beef ribs that we did have. Those were delicious. But the food, the quality is there for being open as long as they are and for going through as much meats as they do.
Yeah, and as we're entering the restaurant in the interior of it feels to me it's like a food hall style where it's like an open layout. You just get your food and head to any table you want. And I think the layout is actually really good. It feels like there's a line and it can take a while, because usually for barbecue restaurants it does take a while, but for this particular setup, I think it was really, really fast, very, very efficient in terms of getting your food and getting to table all within like 5 or 10 minutes. That's really, really quick. I like how they have all the sides as you're coming up to the line, and you just choose your sides first, then you choose your meats. And I particularly like how they set up for the meat section, because then every single counter you can watch them cut into the meat, which is always my favorite part of choosing the meat selection and watching that part.
Yeah, there's definitely, at least with this Dallas location, they really definitely designed it in mind to kind of have everybody, as you're going through, be able to see a lot of different things. Because even as you're going through the line, if you happen to not go into the pits, but as you're walking in line, there's actually a window where you can actually look into the pits and see the workers as they're going through. And then as you move forward towards the line, towards the counter, then you get your, like you mentioned, the sides and the meats, and then you head off to your seat. But definitely the way they design it is definitely within mind of just having things to look at and things that are barbecue kind of environment things to see.
Yeah, it definitely feels to me like a almost like a museum style travel scenic spot that you're visiting, because like with the visiting and I mean the tour itself, and also like with everything, it's like a self-guided tour of the whole barbecue process of here. So
Yeah,
what was some of the items that we got? Do you remember, Simon?
and well, we ordered some beef ribs, of course. That's something we definitely wanted to try. That was, I think, one of our main focuses as we headed down for this trip for barbecue. We also got some pork ribs, some desserts, some sides, coleslaw. But mainly the biggest thing that I know that we definitely were pointing towards was the beef ribs, and that's definitely something that we did order.
Yeah, and I remember some of the desserts that we got here was the banana pudding and also the peach cobbler.
Yeah, I ordered the peach cobbler. Yeah.
And then I think having the drinks to the side is also good too, because then you have everything. It flows really, really well with the restaurant, because then you have everything kind of off to the side, and you're not like making a huge traffic towards the front where the counters are.
Yeah, I agree. The flow definitely goes from essentially you can say it right to left, and then you don't really have that backup, at least compared to other places I've noticed. But it's a large size too. This place is really huge, and at the time we went, even though it was dinner time, there was tons of people. So definitely very, very busy. But definitely they're kind of detailed to just atmospheric things, because just sitting around, everything felt really, really nice. And even though we sat outside, because it wasn't quite as busy as it was inside, there were actually two separate indoor seating sections that I noticed, because originally we had walked in, there's the original kind of front section where everybody kind of is, and there was a kind of a back seating section, and I know originally we went back there and that was pretty full too, so then we ended up walking actually outside to go for the outside seating, which actually I ended up kind of glad that we did, because it kind of created a really different atmosphere in terms of being inside and kind of hearing the hustle and bustle of everybody eating and all the orders going through, and then outside it was actually quite calm and quiet, much more than I was expecting, but it was a nice change of pace between the two sections.
Yeah, the inside is definitely a whole different experience. If you like that noisy environment, being around everybody, that's definitely the spot to sit. It is a lot cooler inside as well, with the AC blowing at full blast there. Outside it was definitely hot. I felt really, really hot out there, but like Simon said, it's really quiet, it's really calm, it's really like a peaceful environment there, and for me, I really enjoyed that too. It's, like I said, a different experience, and eating all that food in a quiet environment was really nice too.
Yeah, but we actually ended up eating right at a table next to the pits, so we were able to kind of see people as they kind of walk by, and went in to go take a peek at all the barbecue that was cooking, and even talking with some of the staff members who were working and wrapping up some of the briskets or other meats that they were cooking at the time. Definitely interesting, and you can kind of see people's kind of interest in terms of how they were piqued, and it's kind of I don't know, just the environment they're kind of, you see this curiosity and kind of watching and seeing how things are done the Terry Black way, and it was definitely a good seat for us because I always ended up kind of turning my head and looking over and kind of watching people as they kind of explored through that pit area.
Having experienced eating here at Terry Black's, I can see why a lot of our friends really enjoy this place. Like we mentioned in our other videos, having the beef ribs is something kind of like special. It's not something you can get at every single restaurant. A lot of them is first come first serve. You can get until it's sold out. With Terry Black's is, since you're open all day, you can get pretty much any time of the day. And I think that is why they're so famous and so popular, because everybody wants those beef ribs, but you can't always get it at every single restaurant. I think that's the main strength that they have here.
Yeah, I agree. Because even prior visits that we've had, we've tried to get the beef ribs, I should say, and it's always been something that, because either it's the wrong day or you'd have to kind of line up super early, and there's places where you'd have to line up 5 a.m. And be there for 5 or 6 hours before you had the chance to get it. And it's one of those things where, for us especially, we're on a trip and it's not that easy to kind of set up that time because you have limited time to do certain things, or you're going here, you're going there, and so it's a tough decision. So I can understand it, but do this, and they're also open late and you can find anytime. That is a really, really definitely positive thing for them. But overall, a really great restaurant, and definitely understand why people come here, and definitely recommend coming here.
And for the snowball goes for the burnt ends. They're very, very tender, more tender than most places that actually make brisket. It was just melt in your mouth. Definitely worth grabbing if you're here at Terry Black's. And to support our channel, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for the YouTube algorithm. And for more photos, follow us on Instagram. See you guys on the next episode.